Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have such an exciting video. When I saw this palette for the first time, when it was revealed, it literally took my breath away. I had to have it. So if you guys are curious to see how I created these two eyeshadow looks, swatches on my tan skin, as well as tons of comparisons of the new Beauty Bay Wilderness palette, then this is the video for you. Just keep watching. If you guys are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Karen Harris. I do have a quick announcement. I'm like under 50 subscribers away from 10K. So if you haven't taken the time to subscribe to my channel, I would really like to invite you to go ahead and subscribe here on my channel. I like to play with new eyeshadow palettes from indie to high-end to everything in between. I love doing first impression videos, will I buy it, new makeup releases, and ranking videos. So if that sounds interesting to you and you have a skin tone similar to mine, this is definitely the place for you. Without further blabbering, let's get into it. Okay, so this just got delivered. I was so pumped because I've ordered quite a few palettes this month and it feels like the mail is just against me. So I was so happy when this showed up. This is what the outer packaging looks like. If you guys know me, you know how much I love the shade green, so this is like right up my alley. On the back here, it says, reconnect with Mother Nature with the Wilderness palette, inspired by the rich earthy tones, leafy greens, and molten shades that nature has to offer. This 20 shade palette features wearable hues while still allowing you to explore your creativity, featuring the same Beauty Bay formula you know and love. Each shade is packed full of pigment, is super blendable, and lasts all day without fading. And I totally agree. Like I said, I've played with quite a few shades on my eyes today, and it definitely reminds me of my other Beauty Bay palettes. And honestly, I can't believe that they only sell these for 15 bucks. I feel like that is such a good deal. And usually Beauty Bay has sales on their brand of products, so you never really have to pay full price. Of course, I paid full price because I really wanted to review this for you guys. So yes, I'm very, very excited to have this palette in my hands. This is what the packaging looks like, and it has this beautiful like gold foil speckled effect. And there's 20 colors in here. Net weight is 1.4 grams or 8.05 ounces. And here's what the inside of the palette looks like. Oh my gosh, it's even more beautiful in person than in the promo pictures. And I remember when I talked about this palette in my new makeup releases video, I said this is like me in an eyeshadow palette. And now that I've seen it in person, I can definitely confirm that. I love Beauty Bay shimmer formula. It kind of has like a putty consistency in it, because if you look here, like in my pans, you can see some are like pressed in, so it has a very beautiful, easy to work with formula. And I'm just so excited for this palette. It also has a giant mirror. It also has a 12-month shelf life, and it is cruelty-free and made in the PRC. So very much a fan of these. Let's go ahead and get into swatches, and I will show you how I created these two eyeshadow looks. Okay, so I'm going to film the demo portion of this video with the Wilderness palette from Beauty Bay. I'm going to go ahead and swatch this palette because I haven't swatched it yet, and it's so fun to swatch it with you guys because then I can decide what kind of eye look I want to do. So here are the first three shades. I have Snow, which is like a cream shade, like a brow bone shade. Then we have Sky, which is like a beautiful sky blue. And then we have Ray, which is like a beautiful topper green shade. It definitely doesn't have a base to it. And then we've got some beautiful matte shades. This dark blue is so stunning. It's called Twilight. It picked up on my finger so nicely. And then I have Ocean, which is a beautiful blue purple duochrome, and then this green matte. Oh, that's so stunning. It's called Forest. Really like the theme of this palette so far. Okay, so here's more greens. We have Breeze, Mint, and Moss. Oh my gosh, if you guys know me, you know these shades are just calling my name. So there's that. Next three shades are also beautiful greens. We have Ivy, we have Lime, and we have Leaf. Oh my goodness. So there's those. Okay, the last green shade is called Eucalyptus. And then I have Marigold, which is a beautiful camel color. And then we have Fossil, which is a beautiful gold topper shade. So there's the first 3 rows. And I think I'm going to run out of room here, so I'm going to go ahead and swatch the last row on this arm. And these are more of like the earth tone, fiery reds. So here's the first 3. In the last row we have Poppy, Raw, and Heat. Oh my goodness. Look at the pigmentation. That's stunning. You could do a stunning eye look with just those 3 shades. And then the last 2 shades are more earth tone shades. So we have Earth and Sunrise. And that's the last 5 shades. And then here's the beautiful like green blue shades. I'm so excited that they did a green blue tone palette, like an earthy themed palette, because I thought this one, the new romance palette, was for sure going to be a green palette because it came out around St. Patrick's Day. And some of the shade names in here were deceptive. Like they had shades like Khaki, and I think Khaki was the one that really got me because I was like, oh, for sure this is going to be a green palette. And especially because it came out in March, but this is their last like palette of this size. So I'm so happy that for the theme Wilderness, we got this absolutely stunning palette. So let's go ahead and put this on my eyes now. Okay, so I'm definitely going to do a green eyeshadow look. I mean, I can't say no. So I'm going to start off with the Sigma E38, and I'm going to go into the shade Leaf. And I'm going to start off by putting that pretty much all over my crease. And my lid is primed with the Juvia's Place eyeshadow primer. That blended so effortlessly, it barely took more than like 1 or 2 swipes, so love that for me. And then I'm going to go into the shade Ivy, which is a beautiful dark green shade in this palette. And I'm going to put that on the outer corner with the same brush. These eyeshadows are blending so nicely. I can't believe this is a $15 palette, which like I do have another video planned. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that up this week because I'm so busy this week. But I found a $5 eyeshadow palette at the drugstore, which has the most amazing color story, and I cannot wait to film with that palette for you guys because I just can't believe that there's a palette like that at the drugstore. So I did decide while I was working on this look that I'm going to do a different look on this eye, just so you guys can get some variety and I can test out a few more shades in this palette. So I'm going to work on the green look first though, and then switch to the next color story. So I think I'm going to keep it pretty simple. I'm going to grab the shade Lime on a flat brush. That's like the limey green shade, the lighter shimmer shade. And I'm just going to spray. And I'm going to put that on the inner corner. Kind of bring it in towards the middle of the lid. And then I'm going to grab the shade Moss, which is like a beautiful dark green shimmer, spray it, and I'm going to pull that over to the end of my lid. I do want to say, while I have you guys' attention, this weekend I have a very, very special visitor coming to see me here in Fargo. I don't know if you guys want to guess who's coming to see me, but we're planning a collaboration. And we wanted to keep it simple, so we're just gonna do where we react to unpopular makeup opinions and just unpopular opinions in general. So if you want to leave us some unpopular opinions in the comment section of this video, that would be so helpful because I would love to have some things we can discuss in our collaboration video. I'll tell you guys who it is maybe closer to Friday, just so we can keep the game going. But if you guys have any guesses, you're definitely welcome to let me know down in the comments. And I will give you guys a hint. I will be on her channel this Sunday, and we're gonna be doing some judging new makeup. I feel like that's like the best hint I could ever possibly give you guys. If you don't know who does judging new makeup on YouTube, then I don't know. I feel like if you guys watch my channel, you definitely watch her channel. We're good friends here on YouTube. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited. Okay, so I'm done with the green look. Now I'm going to grab a Sigma E38. This is a different brush. It's a clean brush. And I'm going to go into the shade Marigold, which is that beautiful like camel shade. And I'm going to put that all over the crease. I love colors like this with my skin tone. They just go really well together. Okay, so now I'm using the Wayne Goss number 18 brush and the shade Poppy. And I'm just putting that on the outer corner. Okay, so now I'm grabbing a smaller brush. This is the Wayne Goss number 19. And I'm going to go into the shade Twilight, which is the dark blue. And I'm just popping that on the very outer corner, just to give it some depth, but also create almost like a sunset look. But red and blue makes purple, so I just wanted a little touch of that. I'm not going to worry about being too precise there, so I'm going to cover it up with shimmers. So I want to use the red shimmer, but first I'm going to start off with Fossil, which is the beautiful like gold shimmer. And this one definitely has like that almost like Super Shock, like flaky texture. And it's foiling so beautifully on the inner corner. So that's the first shade I want to put down. Then I'm going to go into Heat with that same brush, which is the red shimmer. Give it a little spray. And then I'm going to put that right next to the shade Call Fossil. And I'm going to bring that into where I put that blue down. And then the last part of the eye, I'm going to go into the shade Ocean. Spray that. And I'm just going to pull that on where I laid that blue, just to kind of give it that like dimension. Just going to go in with that Wayne Goss brush that I used to put down the blue, and just add a little bit more of the matte. Kind of like a Americana vibe on that side, but I'm going to clean up the lower lash line and finish up the rest of my makeup off camera, and I will be right back to show you guys the two looks once they're completed. Okay, so here is the final look at the two looks I created. I couldn't say no, I had to do a wing, so I threw on a wing liner on both of these, and everything on my face I will link for you guys in case you're curious. I've been trying some new makeup that MAKIAGE sent me, so most of the rest of my face is MAKIAGE, and like I said, all the info will be in the description box. Some of those links are affiliate links. If you do use my links to make a purchase, I will make a small commission, so thank you so much in advance for that. Now, let's talk about some comparisons, because I did grab all of my Beauty Bay palettes, and I grabbed some palettes that are similar to this color story in case you were wondering, like, Karen, can I pass on this? Like, can I use something in my collection? I'm on a no buy, I'm on a low buy, I can't buy every palette. So we've got some stuff to talk about. So let's start off with the Beauty Bay palettes. Now, the few I have, I don't think there are any similarities. This is the New Romance palette. This was the last one they came out with. And as you can tell, pretty different. There are some red tones in this palette that would be similar, but I feel like you have to really love red and pink eyeshadows to go for this one, whereas this is definitely more that earthy toned, beautiful, gorgeous. I just love this color story, you guys. I swear. Oh my gosh. You're gonna have to pry this out of my cold dead hands. This is my other favorite Beauty Bay palette, the Book of Magic. I can't believe they stopped making this palette. It like angers me to this day, but like look at how beautiful these are next to each other. These are like my dream color stories. So again, I don't really see a ton of similarity, plus you can't get that palette even if you wanted to. And then the other palette I have, this one I actually haven't tried yet. I meant to use this in a video where I tried a full face of Beauty Bay, but I ended up using the New Romantic palette. So this is the Sunset Horizon palette, and that's what they look like next to each other. So just want to show you that. And then I do have the Nikkie Tutorials palette as well. So here is that Nikkie Tutorials palette, and this is the Wilderness palette. I can tell you right now, if I was gonna rank those palettes and this new one, I would rank this one at number one, because this color story is the one that like really speaks to me, and then Book of Magic would come second because I love this color story. It has those green shades that I love so much. So very, very happy with this one. Highly recommend. If you haven't picked it up yet, go ahead and order it or wait for a sale, whatever you're feeling. But I do have some palettes that I wanted to compare this one to. One of the ones that came to mind right away is actually one that I've been raving about. It's the Lush Life palette from ColourPop. Now, price-wise, I feel like you're definitely going to get a little bit more bang for your buck because you do get more product and more shades in the Beauty Bay palette. Plus, like I said, they do sales all the time. You're probably going to be able to get this for the same price as this one. I really like this Lush Life palette. I think it's one of ColourPop's best palettes, in my opinion, in a long time. Not just in 2021. I just feel like this is one of their best palettes of all time. Especially if you live in Europe and you can get this one quicker and Beauty Bay ships to your country, I would definitely recommend the Beauty Bay palette over the Lush Life palette. But take that with a grain of salt because I've only used a few of the shades in this palette, whereas I've used all of the shades in the Lush Life. I still think this one is just so good. I'm so sorry. I'm so in love with this. I'm totally biased. And then I also thought maybe I would show you guys this as an option in case you had bought the IM palette from Tress Loose Beauty from Becky G, because there's a few similarities. Like there's some blues and greens and some neutrals in this palette. Again, I would pick the Wilderness palette over the Becky G palette, but this portion of this video is for people that are not trying to buy every single eyeshadow palette that launches. And then I thought maybe if you have the Metropolis palette, you kind of dupe the vibes of this palette with this one. Obviously, this palette is $125 or $129, I can't remember. It's a very expensive Natasha Denona palette. I would say opt for this one if you're balling on a budget. I do really like the cream to powder formula that Natasha Denona has in this palette, but I will say that I feel like this is a more concise version of something like this, and it has some beautiful duochrome shades, whereas the Natasha Denona one I feel like has less interesting metallics if I had to compare. Next, I pulled out this one. It's another oldie but a goodie. I feel like I haven't talked about it in a while. This is the El Barrio palette by Terra Moon, and it has some of those greens and blues and reds, so I kind of thought of that as an option as well. If you're trying to be a little bit more budget conscious and try and substitute with something you already own, maybe you have this in your collection. And then I also grabbed the Codain palette just because it does have that like grungy vibe to it. I think these palettes would actually pair really well together because of the beautiful multi-chromes in the Codain palette, but you know, not really super duper similar. But then I can see like this shade Codain here could be similar. This shade AC162 could be similar to the shade Fossil that I have on my inner corner on this eye. So there are some kind of dupes that you might already have in your collection. And then this one isn't really as good as the Wilderness, but I thought if you have like a more toned down taste, maybe you would want to use your Smitten in Switzerland because it has that grungy green, that blue shade. It's got some of those toned down berry shades. So if you're more of a subtle makeup wearer, you might want to grab that. And then another subtle option would be, I think, the Sigma Untamed. It has those vibes, but as you can see side by side, the Beauty Bay palette is definitely more vibrant, and the duochromes in here are gorgeous. Now, I love both of these formulas. I will say Sigma is definitely more of a traditional formula. It's very metallic, but in the Beauty Bay formula, there's definitely that putty like texture, and I'm sure you guys could tell in the demo, everything just like glided on my eyelids, and so I'm just so pumped. I can't wait to keep playing with this palette. This is so right up my alley. I couldn't think of a more me palette in my collection at this point. I'm just really excited. So I will keep you guys posted. I will maybe try and do more looks with this palette because I really want to continue to play with this and experiment. So let me know what else you would like to see with the Wilderness palette from Beauty Bay. I am so excited it's here. I can't wait to play with it even more. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Like I mentioned, I'm gonna have a very special guest on my channel soon. I think that video will probably go up after they leave, but I will be on their channel on Sunday, so definitely keep an eye out. Let us know any of your unpopular makeup opinions because we want to film a video reacting to that. Also, if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to ask them, and we can also throw in any Q&A questions that you might be curious about to ask me and a special guest. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts on this palette in the comment section. I know a lot of you picked it up. I saw a lot of you comment on my community tab, so I can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts on this palette. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you love the color story? Do you think it's absolutely hot garbage? You guys know I love chatting to you in the comments, and I will see you in my next video soon.